Well, I'm back for the second race, and we have 57, 56 seconds to go into the race start. I see that we have 5. This is another Class D race, and this is the second half of the second race of the WMZ Small Races. These races are pretty good for a man who is a more sprinter-type rider. Right now, I am very competitive between 15-mile races and down. Now, they're not gravel or super hilly. I'm getting better at hills. I know that tomorrow races are different. I think the races change locations every week, the Swift Insiders. So what I'm doing, and a lot of them don't put, I guess they're trying to prepare people. They don't put the feet and the height of the race, the mileage, the kilometers, and the elevation in the race. So when that comes up, I'm getting better at trying to figure that out. But as you can see, we just started off, and with this race, we're coming up on the starting line, and this is going to be in my head, this is going to be a pretty good race. There are 3 guys with me, and they're riding right behind me. At first, I thought this race had more of a like a layered competition like I did last Sunday. But for me, no, this is just us individually. And this race is 5.7 miles. And the lead in, we're on the lead in now. And I should be coming up on the opening for this race. It's 3 laps. This is going to be more of a push-it race, but not too hard of a race. In fact, for me, I decided that I was going to stick with the guy beside me and try not to leave him, but I think he ended up quitting M. Bolton. I may be wrong, but I know that I didn't see him close to at the end. It wasn't me just trying to outdo him. It was just, I decided, if you see my pedals and you see how I'm moving, I decided just to kind of maintain a steady pace. I'm thinking that if I could bring what I do on my hydro is that I bring my strokes down, but I increase my power as I'm going. So I may be at 23 strokes per minute on that, but I'm pushing out, 2.3, 2.4 500 meters every 2.3, 2.4 minutes. So that's what I'm trying to do here on the bike, is where I bring the revolutions down a little bit, but I keep the power going, which is pretty easy to do if you're standing on a bike. But for me right now, I'm still not confident in my idea of standing on my bike. So all this is done while I'm sitting in the saddle. As I come around the corner, I notice that it's only 3 of us. It's still only us 3. No, 4. It's 3 of us. 4, somebody's fallen off. That's what it was. Somebody fell off. And so M. Bolton was still behind me. I didn't see who it was who fell off. Maybe I'll look at it next time and understand who it was. But I come around this corner, and that's when I realized what race this is. This is the Glasgow. This course is, I think, 1.91 lap most of the time. And this is one of the most familiar races for this month. I've done this race at this point with that one, of the 16th. This makes my 16th race this month. Of the 16th race in 30 days, this makes my 10th one on this course. So I'm familiarized to this course. I know where to kick in, where to slow down at. And that's major for me. If I was to race this course with C's, or if I can get in a group ride with C's on this race, on this course will allow me to have a little bit more of advantage, because I'll know where I need to kick in my speed. If I give a feather, I know when to push the feather so I can get a better boost out of it. I know coming down this incline, I'm gonna go up the incline. Coming down the decline, I'm going up the incline. But I know this incline that I come around on this corner right here in front of like this public building is a decline coming right away. And then I know that I have the humps. I call them the humps, where you go up and down. And I'm used to this race. I know this race right here, this course right here is more friendly to me. This is what I mean by I can take the hills and I can take the long wavy hills, but I can't take just a constant climb right now. And it may not have been good for me to do this the day before, where I know the next day I have a race, but I see these guys racing. Here it is, right here you go. I see these guys racing 2 or 3 30-milers, man. 25-kilometer races. I see them racing. I watched YouTube. I watch a couple YouTube guys. I'll put their hashtags in here so you can follow them. But them guys race a lot of longer races, and that's my goal. Is, well, like I said, that morning something happened when the camera clicked up like 10 seconds for the race, so I just backed out the race because I think I'm recording. But that race was going to be a 20-miler. I'm just going to start kicking it up a notch. I'm going to start stretching myself out to 20 miles on these races, because I want to be able to, if I can place in these races at 20 miles, that's getting my endurance up so that I can start doing the 25, 30, 40-mile races. Because my goal is, by the end of the year, I really want to do a century. Just a free ride century. Get with a group ride somewhere in the scale of like 2.6, between 2.0 to 2.5 kilowatt group ride, and do a whole century, 100 miles. And as you see, we come up on 1.9, which I know how long these laps are on this race. And this actually courses is like 1.9. And as I come up on the first lap, I look down at the thing, and I'm 50 some seconds ahead of the next guy. So I decide that this is not going to be a super powerful race. I'm just going to turn this into what I call it, a bike course, a loosening of the legs. So I decide that I'm not going to keep pushing myself as hard as I was. And you see I can back it down to about 350 to 400 watts. And it's 80 pedals per minute. My normal riding pedal is 60 pedals per minute, which is not that hard. It's an actual confident thing for me. That's where I can put out a lot of wattage, but I'm not killing myself. I can ride 65, 70 pedals per minute, and with 280 to 300 watts output, that puts me about 1.7, 1.8. And I can ride at that for hours. I've done it for about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours before. So that gives me a chance to rest up. It's not really strenuous on my legs, and I feel comfortable. The biggest thing I had to learn, and anybody else who starts to ride slow, the biggest thing you have to learn is don't cheap out on your seat. First of all, it's going to take a minute to get used to the seat. Trust me, it did for me. It took don't let nobody lie to you. And maybe because I'm a bigger guy, bigger butt, it took me about a month and a half to get used to that seat. But I bought me a more expensive seat. I think I ended up spending maybe 45, 50 bucks on my seat, on my saddle. And it made the biggest difference now, because I feel comfortable on it so that I can ride longer. Don't get upset. Find ways to, first of all, find a saddle that fits you. Even for smaller riders, the saddles that fit you, you may have to go get fitted at a bike shop. Yes, I know it's a stationary bike for me, and I've added so many accessories to this thing, but I treat it like it's a street bike. I treat it like it's a bike that I need to race on street. I'm not gonna race on street, but this is the closest thing I get to do to street. These races here are exciting for me. I'm not in the weather, but yet my room is, because it's summertime, it is hot. I have fans in there. I have it set up so that I get circulation. I'm gonna add another fan soon so I can see if I get the wind to kind of wrap around my room as the fan, one fan pushes, the other one pushes it around. But that'll give me a chance to really get cooled off, because I am totally sweating in these races. I am exhausted just from sweat loss alone. But back to the race, we're 7.5 minutes in, 2.8 miles to go, and I'm used to this. This is just, like I told you, this was going to be a 250 watt, 300 watt race. I'm not trying to kill myself on this, because I know that I have 4 races coming up the next day. So I decided that I'm just going to cruise this thing out. And when you're cruising like this, it's fun sometimes to take in the scenery. And I noticed the chipmunks, which I never noticed before on the bikes. I didn't know so many chipmunks, so I guess that's something to do with the mascot of the race. But I did not realize it was this many chipmunks, and you get to ride around some of these, and I passed a little blue Mini. I tell you a story about the Mini. And my wife and I owned the Mini, and I'm a 6 foot at the time, 450-pound dude. My wife is smaller, 5'10", probably 160 pounds at soaking wet, if that. And we went to we do this thing where we go on like little mini retreats, and we went on a little mini retreat in a little coupe, and we went to a cover band, Beach Bar cover band. We watched the band, and I pulled up, and a cop was there directing traffic and telling us where to park. And I pull up, and this cop come up to me and go, "Okay, you're bearing the car." I was like, "Yeah." He said, "You sure you're tired of wearing the Mini?" and it was kind of nice to have the conversation that we had about the Mini. He poked fun at me. This was a 3-day event, and he poked fun at me the whole time. I like the Mini. I really do. I don't know why big guys like really small things, but I guess it makes us feel small. So that was a nice little thing. I saw the Mini. Sorry, I went off course. But back at this race, this is not a so-called competition anymore. This is more just me trying to finish this race to get ready for the next one. I don't even think I sprinted it out on this one. I may sprint out on the last one, but I don't think I really did on this one. We'll see when it comes up to the end of this race, but I don't think I sprinted it out. I may have, but we're coming up closely on our next and final lap. And if you can look up there at the top, you see me back down to 60 watts. 60 revolutions per minute, 250 watts putting out. I'm really just riding how I ride with a group ride normally. Watobia, and I would ride maybe the beach loop where he's at 5.6 or 5.7 watts output, and that's what I normally ride at. So right now I'm riding at what I normally ride at. If you ever wondered what my normal numbers that I put out when I'm just riding on a group ride or just a simple relaxed ride, there are the numbers there. There are, it's 2.6, the numbers are, wow, I didn't realize that. It's 1.7, 1.8, and 300 watts. So as you can see, I'm not trying to just kill myself. I got the feather, and instead of using feather, I know that when I come around, I think the next 2 turns, I hit the double hump hill. One of them is, I think roughly 6%, and the next one, that's the one that gets to almost 10, maybe 11. And as I come around this hump right here, I think once I get to the top crest of the first one, I hit the feather so that I can build a speed to the second one. And that's why I like the Glasgow rides, because I've been riding the Glasgow rides for a while. So when I come up to this next right turn, this is it. At the bottom, when I come over under the green bridge, I hit the first one. And normally I don't think I hit the C until I'm at the top crest of the first one. So it is a turn right here, and that's when I turn into that one. But the other 2 are downhill. So as I come around this corner right here, we're at 12 minutes and 8 seconds in. I look up, and this is what I was talking about. I hit the C, I hit the feather right at the top of this one right here. And that allows you, just what I did, and I hit it right at the top of that first one. And as you see, I put all my pedal into this one. I'm at 600 watts, 111 pedals per minute. And I hit the feather so I don't lose as much. If I don't hit this feather, I'll come down to 10, 9 pretty quick at the end. But as you see, I hit the feather, and it allows me to stay up high a little bit longer. And as the hill crests out, the feather fades away, and I'm at the top of the hill, and all I have to do is maintain a little speed, and I come over, and I can come down to this decline, which is pretty good to get me over the next hump. And as you see, I come over the side, and I'm coming down the decline now. And with this decline coming down, I'm thinking to myself, do I push out this race, or do I just continue to relax on this one? Knowing that tomorrow will be a pretty hard couple of races. I don't know what it is for some people. I don't know if they look at it and go, well, them 4 races are nothing, but for me, them 4 races in an hour, ooh, I feel them. I feel them the rest of that day. It makes it hard to really do anything else. Sometimes I will ride the bike an hour or two later, and it kind of relaxes my legs, give me a chance to loosen them back up, because they do get kind of ticks after a long race like that. But as you see, I come through that. I'm coming down the hill. I'm going back up. We're at 13 minutes and 50 seconds in, and I noticed a little chipmunk at the end. Like I said, you see things that you normally don't see when you're racing because you're too busy looking at the window trying to see who's close to you, who's behind you, who's running what. And so for me, not to have to worry about that on this race, which, like I said, I chose this race. It was about 7 said it was going to be in it, and it ended up only being like 3 of us. But I'm happy that I did it, because it's just a race where I get to feel comfortable and get my legs back ready for the next day. Like I say, this is I want to say this is Friday. I did these 2 races. I'll look back and check, just in case I'm wrong. If I'm not, I'll put it up on the top of the screen just to so you know what day I did this race. But as I come around the corner, I think I decided that I was going to sprint this thing out and just see what I get on the end sprint of this one. What I've learned about the sprints is, if you hit the sprint at the start, it's okay. But if you come into that sprint rolling, it is so much better. So what I try to do sometimes is that when I know where the sprint coming in at, and I know I'm getting close to it now, I think I kick it up now. If I see the little green lines, I really kick it up. And if you can see here, I am kicking it up now. I'm at 700 watts. I think I'm trying to bring this thing up. My goal is to get it up to 1,000. And as you see, I'm at 140, 137, 140 watts. And you see I'm at 140 pedals. I'm at 900. I'm close to 1,000 watts each time. And I brought it in pretty decent at the end. I must admit, that was a tiresome little race because it was 2 back-to-back, but I know what to look forward to tomorrow. And when I get to start tomorrow, I'll put up requests. I want you to like and subscribe to my channel. Please hit the like button and please subscribe. If you like my content, leave me a comment in the bottom. Give me some advice, please. Thank you and have a nice day.